This is Ruth Lubecker back at Helen's Restaurant, the land of the blueberry pie, and it's advertised in Down East Magazine, also, by the way, for all you blueberry pie lovers. We are going to welcome Johnathan Daniels of Eastern Maine Development Corporation.
Ruth, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
Glad you could be with us.
Well, thank you.
We still think we own you down here. You know, you belong down east. This is where I first met you, and
Yes,
where many people did. Yeah. Tell us, first of all, the basic community services. A lot of people really don't know, can't
Sure,
define Eastern
sure.
Maine Development Corporation.
Sure. We're one of 6 economic development districts in the state, and we are actually the largest. We incorporate about 40% of the state's land mass, Piscataquis, Penobscot, Washington, Hancock, Knox, and Waldo counties. And that's a federal and state designation under Economic Development Administration, with a basic charge of working with communities, working with businesses on economic and community development activities. And actually the way that we're broken up, it refines it very nicely and allows us the opportunity to get to businesses and communities. Within our community services, which is probably where we're best known, there's three departments. Our community planning, which actually works hand in hand with community on comprehensive plans, evaluating infrastructure requirements. We have community and economic development. That group is responsible for the comprehensive economic development strategy, or also known as CEDS. And we work in a lot of acronyms, so I'll throw some of those out there today. And also a group called BACS, Bangor Area Comprehensive Transportation System. And that's a transportation planning and metropolitan planning organization for the greater Bangor area. So they work on activities, for instance, around the Bangor Mall. So anytime there's any type of congestion around the Bangor Mall, BACS is the group that tries to eliminate that and look at transportation options.
Too bad, thinking back to Linda before you, that we couldn't initiate a little of that down here, transportation network.
Yes,
doesn't work
yes.
that way. Tell us about, there's a lot of interest, there has been in the last year or two, down here particularly, about pine tree zones.
Mm-hmm.
How do they work? Are they really a worthwhile thing, or is this a lot of bureaucratic paperwork?
I think what it is,
that
the pine tree zones, it's not unique in the United States. Actually, 38 states throughout the United States utilize some type of incentive zone. And what the administration did was they didn't need to reinvent the wheel, but what they did is they refined it a little bit, took a look at New York and Pennsylvania and a couple other states, and put together an incentive package. And really, when you take a look at the state of Maine, we had a variety of tax incentives out there. They were difficult to master and difficult to understand. This allowed us the opportunity to consolidate those and be able to work with companies within these designated pine tree zone areas and be able to put an incentive package which makes sense, is very definable over a period of time, and really is quantifiable. So it made it
So you get a tax break, for instance, and different breaks.
Yes, yes. It's a 15-year program, of which if your business developed in there, you get it for up to 10 years. And that's reimbursement on income tax. There's sales tax exemption or sales tax reimbursement on any type of construction materials. So it is something that's very quantifiable, and when you look at it, it means a lot to the bottom line. It also gave us a new program to market our region with. Instead of going out and just basically talking about the same old thing with companies, we were able to go out with a true product. Now, there are 8 pine tree zones established throughout the state of Maine, and the down east zone is Washington County and Hancock County combined. And within that, you can have up to 20 municipalities or 20 parcels available and up to 5,000 acres. And all of that is governed under statute. In Eastern Maine Development Corporation, we're one of the coordinating bodies and administrators of the pine tree zone for this region.
Well, I think you've answered my next question. In other words, you already have this zone created here.
Mm-hmm.
So just say that I wanted to start a business in Pembroke,
Yes.
even. I'm saying that because it's a little bit off the beaten track.
Mm-hmm.
I could join, conceivably, this Washington Hancock pine tree zone.
If it's not within a designated zone or a designated parcel right now, we can work through the administrative process and actually get that incorporated into the zone. There is a process, and we have a local governing body that does work with us. But yes, if it's seen that that's the best location for it and there's not another site that's available, we can incorporate that into the pine tree zone activity.
Interesting. Now, I know that I hear this down here, so I have to ask you this question, but it's understandable, I think, that there's a focus on Bangor with
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Maine Development Corporation. I don't believe that that's to the detriment of other areas, and yet I'd like to ask you, if you could focus on Washington County's needs,
Mm-hmm.
what would you like to see happen down here as relates to EMDC in Washington County?
Certainly, we work hand in hand with the local bodies, Sunrise County Economic Council, Washington County Council of Governments, and that was a group, both of those groups actually originated within EMDC and spun out.
Is that right?
At that point.
Okay.
And what we like to do is as EMDC, we like to work on the coordination, but then be able to put the people on the street, put the feet on the street, and allow for a local presence within there. We work hand in hand with Diane Tilton and Judy East in order to work on strategy development and implementation. I think one thing that people don't understand is that EMDC, though we are located, our headquarters happens to be in Bangor, we have 7 offices throughout the state and a variety of programs that are out there. For instance, Maine Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, or Maine PTAC. That's a government procurement program, and last year we helped over 300 businesses access $279 million
That's amazing.
in government contracts. Now that's something that's available on a statewide basis. We'd love to be able to see more clients that want to take advantage of those services. Though they may be talking to someone in Bangor, that's a resource that's available through SCEC, Washington County COG, and all the other activities down east.
Now, you also, I take it, have a relationship with workforce investments?
Yes, yes. The workforce investments are through the WIA, or Workforce Investment Boards, the WIB boards. We actually run a workforce investment board for 3 of the counties. Washington County is not within our territory, but it's within the workforce investment board territory of Aroostook County. But we work hand in hand. There's 4 workforce investment boards throughout the state, which we happen to be one of those, and work hand in hand with people. So it's really the development of an economic strategy that focuses on workforce development, community development, and the creation of a strategy that can be implemented looking at all factors.
Now, how long have you been with Eastern Maine Development?
I've been there just a little bit more than 2 years.
Man, I know it hasn't been too awfully long. Well, it's probably an appropriate question then. What would you see as your long-term goals for you in your position with the organization?
I think certainly is EMDC, as was mentioned before, we're seeing a reduction in state resources and federal resources. We're being asked to do more, develop new strategic planning processes, and implement those plans with fewer resources, fewer dollars available to do that. So we're changing as an organization. Not only are we involved in the public aspects of community planning and such, but a lot of consulting, looking at projects that may be occurring down east, working hand in hand with either the community or the private developer, and looking at the feasibility.
So you're working more closely with towns,
yes, we are.
municipalities?
Yes, we are. And it's really right now it's split. We evaluate. We're evaluating and taking a look, though not on an official basis, but everything that may happen with the LNG facility, understanding what the impact will be to the communities, to the region, and that's an economic development project that, though it may be located in Washington County. It has region-wide implications, so we better understand as the agency responsible for the planning what the impacts are going to be and how we can take advantage of those opportunities.
But so is a Racino part of economic development.
Yes.
Now, how would you, obviously EMDC probably doesn't take political positions, I'm not asking about that, but how would you see a Racino benefiting this area and EMDC having to play a role in that, being able to?
I think you take a look at everything from the LNG to the Racino to other what can be seen as controversial subjects, and incorporate those as part of the overall economic development plan. There isn't a single one of those that's going to be the silver bullet or it's going to be the savior of economic development. But as long as it's seen as a part of the overall strategy and can be implemented as such, I think it certainly can play a part. And it's working with the people that are going to be developing that to see what will be developed. Because now we do have an example with the Hollywood Slots facility down in Bangor.
We do.
And over a 2-month period, over $60 million moved through that facility. So can that be incorporated in other parts of the state? I think that's a very good question. We need to have the opportunity as Washington County.
It can.
As can this be a part of our overall economic development strategy?
That's right. Okay. That's probably another show, Jonathan.
Great.
Thank you for coming down with us.
Thank you, Ruth.
This is Ruth Lubecker at Helen's Restaurant, home of the Blueberry Pie.